on Trump's tariffs. Let's go to Sourabh Gupta. He's with the Institute for China-America Studies, where he's a senior Asia-Pacific International Relations Policy Specialist. Sourabh, where do I even begin? All right, let's start with Mexico. Clearly, U.S. and Mexico struck a deal, at least for the next month. There will be no new tariffs on Mexico, no tariffs on Mexico. But what do you think is going to happen in terms of tariff threats imposed on China and Canada that are supposed to take effect on Tuesday? Do you foresee some last-minute deal that would prevent that from happening?
No, I don't foresee a last-minute deal happening. I think Mr. Trump wants them to happen, so he's going to force it through, and then he will buy time to negotiate with them. And it remains to be seen what exactly he does want to negotiate about, especially with China. China has done a lot on fentanyl. So Mr. Trump has not laid out specifics of what he is asking them to do, asking China to do, but he just wants this to be on the record, and he wants this threat to be made against them, and he's going to follow through with the threat. Frankly, Mexico is not off the hook either. In this next month, they're going to really have to do a lot, and Mr. Trump will, in fact, probably go ahead and impose tariffs in spite of that. So this is how he operates, and it's early in his administration, and we should brace for it.
So how do you think China is going to respond?
Oh, I think China's response will be somewhat low-key. They've talked in terms of bringing a WTO case and in terms of selective countermeasures. But my view is, and I think that is where the Chinese government comes down to, is that they are going to keep their gunpowder dry for the moment. There are a lot of probes related to China that will come due within 2 months' time, on the basis of which Mr. Trump is going to impose tariffs and controls, et cetera, et cetera. So this is just a 10% tariff. It's something small. Much worse is coming down the pike. And I think China will be preparing for those and to have very strong countermeasures. So at this point of time, China is not happy. It will respond, but it will keep its response low-key.
So why is this strategy of imposing tariffs on all these countries? Is this something that's going to work? Why not try a different approach? Why not try negotiations and talking to the leaders like he did with Mexico's president? Doesn't that, I mean, I don't know, does this strategy, can it backfire, I should ask?
It does, but Mr. Trump is using this as kind of the first step to initiate a negotiation. The question is whether he talks about being a great negotiator, but during his first term, most of his negotiations, frankly, failed. They did not succeed. And that is the risk, that the negotiations that he's bringing on will also fail. And so that, I think, is where the real danger stems, not right now, but 6 months hence or 12 months hence. So he imposed the tariff, they negotiated, and what came out of it, and maybe things got even worse. That is my fear. As for why Mr. Trump imposes tariffs, this has been part of his mindset right since the 1980s. And he wants to kind of equalize the playing field in his view that countries should not be running large trade deficits. But of late also, he's started to use tariffs as a means for industrial policy.
But I think the key here is, I think even President Trump admitted that, you know, new tariffs could cause some pain, but he insists that they will not substantially increase prices for Americans, and it's the foreign countries who will bear the brunt of it. But in reality, it's the consumers that will end up paying more.
Yeah, it is consumers that will end up paying more, and prices will go up. He's hoping that this will be won't be a protracted tariff war. He will get what he wants, and then within 6 months or 12 months, these things will be sorted out. We'll all be happy, and consumers won't remember it down the line. But that's not how it will work. That's not how it will probably work out. And I think folks should just brace. I mean, particularly the Federal Reserve will be bracing for perhaps inflation going up. And so that's going to hurt Mr. Trump's long-term policy goals,
all right.
too.
We'll leave it there. Sourabh Gupta, thank you very much.